Hello students, in this video we are going to study about organisms and population. Before starting with the chapter, we first would like to know about the interaction of organisms with environment. Therefore, we need to study about ecology. Ecology is that branch of biology that deals with the interrelationship amongst organisms and interaction between the organisms and their environment. Ecology has two branches. One is autoecology, another is synecology. Autoecology or species ecology is the study of reciprocal relationship between every stages of individual or species and its environment. When there is the interaction between environment and the stages of development of an individual or a species, then it is called as ecology. Whereas on the other hand, the other branch of ecology is synecology. In this branch, there is a study of reciprocal relationship between composition, organization and development of communities and their development environment. That means synecology is going to interact with the community and environment. In case of autoecology, there is interaction between individual or species with respect to the environment. Now coming to the biological hierarchy. Biological hierarchy is a hierarchy in organization from the level of biomolecules to the organismic level. That means the biomolecules means we refer to the hierarchy from cells to tissues, organs to organ system, leading to the individual organism, which will give rise to population, biotic community, ecosystem, landscape, biome and biosphere. Therefore, we can say the ecological hierarchy may be the hierarchy in the levels of organism that are connected with ecological grouping of organisms, that is from individual to biosphere. This hierarchy of organism to biosphere leads to formation of ecological hierarchy, as there is interaction between one individual, then the species, then the whole environment is interlinked for the perpetuation of a individual or a species. Moving ahead, as we know that organism interaction with the environment is very important. Therefore, there are certain factors that are going to influence directly or indirectly in the functioning of organisms. Therefore, we can define environment factors as the constituent of environment which directly or indirectly influence the form and functioning of organisms in a specific way are called environment factors. These environment factors are of two types: biotic factors and abiotic factors. There are the biotic factors on which the habitat of an organism depends fully, and these lead to the presence of few components like that of pathogens, parasites, predators and competitors. Whereas there are certain abiotic or physiochemical components that actually do not characterize the habitat of an organism completely, but the interaction of organism plays a major role with abiotic factors that includes temperature, water, sunlight and soil. Let us first come to the major abiotic factor, that is temperature. Temperature is the most ecological relevant factor because there is a wide range of temperature within which organisms are living, that is from sub-zero temperature to greater than 50 degrees Celsius, and habitat may vary from polar regions to tropical deserts where the temperature is having more than 50 degrees Celsius. Organisms even have the habitat in the extreme environment such as deep sea hydrothermal vents where temperature exceeds to 100 degrees Celsius. Temperature plays a very significant role in the habitat or in organisms for their growth, as it affects the kinetics of the enzyme, that is the metabolism of the organism. It is the metabolism, activity and the physiological functions of the organism that are significantly changed or altered due to the presence of temperature of that environment. Depending on the range of environment, there are two types of organism. One is eurythermal organisms, another is stenothermal organisms. Eurythermal organisms are restricted, or they can thrive in a variety or the wide range of temperature. For example, that of goat, dog, cat, tiger, man. On the other hand, there are stenothermal organisms who are restricted to a narrow range of temperature such as penguin, python, crocodiles. There are certain eurythermal plants such as roses, daisies and few stenothermal plants like bougainvillea, croton, vines, orchids. They also have the variety or the variation in the ranges of temperature. Now coming to the next abiotic factor, that is water. As we know, water is the important factor that influences the life of an organism, and this is the only factor by which the life has been sustained. So the availability of water is very important, and depending on that availability, there are certain adaptations that has been undertaken by the organisms to live in that abiotic factor. For example, in case of aquatic plants or aquatic organisms, their productivity and their distribution depends on water. Therefore, we can say the chemical composition or pH of water is very important for an aquatic organism or a plant to thrive in aquatic region. In that case, the chemical composition we are concerned about is the salt concentration of that water. Salt concentration is measured as the salinity in parts per thousand, which is less in inland waters, it is around 30 to 35 in case of seawater, and more than 100% in hypersaline lagoons. Therefore, depending on the salt concentration, there are two types of organisms. One is euryhaline organisms, another is stenohaline organisms. The organisms who live in wide range of salinities or salt concentration, they are called euryhaline organisms, and the organisms that are restricted to narrow range of salinities are called stenohaline organisms. For example, salmon, urchin, bull shark, seagrass, stingray, and in case of stenohaline are goldfish and shark. In the next video, we are going to study about the other abiotic factors, that is light and soil, and we are going to see the responses of these abiotic factors with organism. Thank you.